Hi, everyone, and welcome to the general collective reading for the week of July 17th through the 23rd. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot reading for soul illumination. I am Lauren. Hi, and welcome. Now, we're going to jump right in here. We're going to start by taking a look at the two energetic themes for the week ahead, and this is for everyone. So we're just kind of looking at what we can all expect from the week, and also really take a look at what Spirit would like us to focus on so that we can be on that continual path of soul illumination for ourselves. So let's see what wants to come out here. We have Poised. I love this card with the number 48. Breaks down to the number 12 in numerology, further breaking down to number 3. Now, for those of you who have watched some of my other videos, the number 12 for me is the God number, or the number of kind of the divine mystery of our life. That's what after working with numbers for many, many years, that is really how I identify with that number. There's a wholeness to it. There is an element of, with it further breaking down to the 3, an element of divinity. There's an element of creativity, and also the playfulness of greeting life with the innocence of a child. And I really like that when we think about Poised, this card in this deck speaks to getting ready for the new, that we have kind of done all of the hard work. We have pushed ourselves through to this point. And so for many of us, it's almost like this is that week to really collect ourselves, to kind of take stock of how far we've come, to take stock of maybe a new cycle that's opening up, or how much further we have to go from this point if we've maybe started to implement new things. But it's also to really get excited about the future. I mean, you can look at this. It looks like this beautiful kind of fairy-like individual, and she is just ready. She's got her arms open wide, and she's ready to bring in. And I like how you see here, even though there are stars around her, there is one star above her. And that really, to me, represents the star card in the tarot. The star card really represents having our eye on that guiding principle within ourselves. What is that guiding value in our lives? It can also be that guiding dream, and getting ready to really welcome it in. So this is a beautiful week. It's a week of, I almost feel like a week of summation for some of us. And what do I mean by that? I mean a week of really, again, taking stock of how far we've come, giving ourselves the kudos of maybe having got to the end of one cycle, and now really getting ready to welcome in the blessings that want to start coming in for us as we herald in a new cycle for ourselves. So let's go ahead here and see. I'm actually going to read just the little blurb that comes with this. Ooh, I love it. So secondary energy is the King of Pentacles. Now, the King of Pentacles does speak to value. The King of Pentacles harnesses the energy of Taurus, and Taurus is the sign that helps us work with what we value. It is the sign also that's associated with Venus, with Libra as well. And there is a sense of, again, value, pleasure, what we find value in that is pleasurable to us, or vice versa, what is pleasurable and we give value to that. But the King of Pentacles also speaks to someone who understands their own value and how to wield that in the physical plane of existence. So this is someone who knows what their time is worth. They know what their energy is worth. They know how much they have in the bank. They know how much, when they put effort towards something, what they can get back from that. This is someone who can be a master prioritizer as well. But again, this is an individual who's going to be very focused and very masterful in the realm of the physical. So there's kind of this building energy, but also a big theme around value as well. That's coming through intuitively for me. Self-value, and the value of the dream, and the value of what you're getting ready to move into. You know, really looking at that. You know, if we're looking at the star and we're poised to bring it in, what is of value and worth to us in taking the chance to welcome in that new, or to start to follow that star into the next cycle. Okay, so let's see here. We're going to take a look at just the general theme here in the book that comes with that card. So 48, Poised. It says essential meanings: being ready, bringing something to light, being at your best confidence. The oracle's message says you can be assured that you are ready for anything right now. You know what you need to. Your skills are sharp. You've come to this place armed with wisdom and knowledge, and you sense a new phase of your life about to begin. People respond to your confidence and trust you. This is an auspicious time to begin new things. I love that. So again, this is really kind of playing to the King of Pentacles, just like that card said, is someone who has wisdom and knowledge. Someone who has wisdom and knowledge specifically about themselves, again, and the value that they wield in the world, and how they can bring that into the next cycle of what they want to build. This can be the individual who now knows what they're worth, and they will now move into maybe a new cycle with a new job, and they understand that they're going to not accept less than X amount of money or a certain type of work environment. There's something around this where many of us have leveled up in some aspect in our experience in the physical. And some of you may say, well, I don't feel that way. I don't feel like I have a bunch of money in the bank, or I don't feel like I can demand that I get this type of salary. There's something in the physical that you have mastered. We each have in this last cycle. And as we're getting ready to jump into the new, we're obviously at all different points. We're at all different phases on the spectrum of, beginner to some of us being, well into our 70s and 80s possibly. And we are, bringing in a different level of experience there. But wherever we are on that spectrum of our life's journey, there is a sense of having mastered something in the physical, whether this is truly just knowledge. Maybe some of you are graduating from college or with an extra level of degree. There can be a level of mastery just in the physical. For some of you, there may be, through experience, direct experience, you have mastered something about yourself or something specific like a hobby, a talent, a skill set that directly applies to, it could be like you're a masterful woodworker, and that is how that's your expertise in manipulating the physical environment. So really take a look this week at where you've mastered your relationship to the physical. This can even be just where you've learned how to prioritize in a way that doesn't burn you out, or in a way that gets the most done, and again, allows you to really focus on bringing more of what you value into your life experience. Now we're going to dive into looking at the 4 aspects of our, just as being a human, 4 aspects of our experience. We're looking at our emotional experience, our mental experience, our physical experience, and our passionate, action-oriented experience. So we'll look to see kind of what we're being led to look at in those aspects of our life, and then I'll pull some additional clarifiers to maybe get a little deeper into a couple of the messages. So for our emotional state this week, we have get to know each other. Learn to meet another's need for love. I love this. And this is the number 44. It's an angelic number. It's a number that speaks to building firm foundations through hard work, but also foundations that really come from a place of personal empowerment, of empowered leadership, of when we build this foundation through the energy of love, we are also empowering ourselves and bringing in a level of abundance that comes with that. So I get this feeling when it says learn to meet another's need for love, that as we're getting really focused on ourselves and we're getting very focused on our own value and what we value, this is also not getting lost in the King of Pentacles energy, which can sometimes be very, almost too focused on the physical. This can be the person who says, I'm only going to do it if I get something in return. I'm only going to, this would be like, saying, well, I'm going, like a tit for tat kind of thing. Like I'm only going to make dinner for my romantic partner if they do something in return for me. Or, because I know my time is worth X, Y, and Z, so I demand that they, show me my own value. Instead of just saying, you know what, the value of making the nice dinner that my significant partner loves is just in my ability to masterfully cook this meal and give it through the energy of love, of being in service to someone else. But it's the joy it's the enjoyment of the other person enjoying the meal, but it's also my ability, because this could be like, let's say you are a masterful cook and that is a gift you have and you are giving it to the other individual, then that is a gift in itself. There's a sharing, there is the reciprocity, that it isn't so focused on getting something in a direct exchange for something else, if that makes sense. But I also like that it says get to know each other. So this can really, on our emotional aspect of our experience, when we think about this in relation to the cup energy in the tarot, the cup energy speaks to us understanding what's in our cup, directly emotionally connecting to our needs, our wants, the dreams we want to pursue, anything that in the thought of it makes us feel something. And there is something about this kind of energy feels very much like the Two of Cups energy, which is sharing from that place, but also understanding that everybody has their own cup and that you get to then understand. There's almost an element of being emotionally curious about other people's cups, about what other people's needs are, and allowing them to share it with you so that you can, and you to do the same. There's a reciprocity here. And really allowing yourself to say, these are my needs. This is the dream that I'm getting ready to follow. What is your dream? What are your needs? And how can how can I support you? How can you support me? If this is, let's say, a romantic partnership, this could also just be being around other people, being in a friend group, being in a networking circle. This could even be at work where you're like, you know what? I'm going to get to know my manager a little better. I'm going to sit down and maybe have that, invite them to coffee in the morning, or I'm going to have this discussion, maybe sit a little while after that meeting and just get to know the other person and to ask, how can I help you? And what do you like to do outside of work? And what are you getting ready to do that's new and exciting for you? There's something about that. It's about opening us up on an emotional level to be curious. And curiosity to me is a very powerful principle because it allows us to really break down those barriers that kind of prevent us from engaging in an open, authentic, and vulnerable way with our experience, because it allows us to say, you know what, I don't know everything. And who knows, in maybe having that extra cup of coffee in the morning with my manager and getting to get to know them better, we'll find that we have something in common, or we'll find that we both want to start a hobby together, or I'll find that I can actually do something a little differently in my work routine that will take something off of that individual's plate and therein make their life a little better. So it's a beautiful sense here about getting curious as to where you can open yourself up on an emotional level to another's emotional level. All right, so really a week of connection, a week of confidence. And this is great because when we have the confidence in the self, then we can really allow that confidence to shine when we talk to someone else. It allows us to see that confidence mirrored in someone else in a positive way. Okay, so now I'm going to pull a card to see what we're kind of looking to expect on the mental plane of our experience, really what Spirit's asking us to focus on so that we can keep our thoughts open and aligned and just keep us aware of what's going on up there. That's really the point of these readings, is to give us points to focus on in the week so that we don't just let a week fly by or slide by without us really learning something about ourselves and learning something about our experience and the people that are also sharing that same experience. Okay, so we have Starseed, what lights you up? Love this card in this deck. So this is about really looking at your thoughts and how you can, when we think about what lights you up, this really is about looking at if you're poised to bring in that star, you're poised to bring in the new, and you really want to kind of get into this King of Pentacles energy of maybe being able to capitalize on a skill set in the physical or something you've mastered, a level of wisdom you've attained. Then really look at, as you're going through the week and where your thoughts are kind of running, when your thoughts kind of go someplace and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I could just go down the rabbit hole of thinking about this, or all of a sudden you get excited in like thinking about the new plan for the future. That really speaks to kind of, that's the compass point for this week. What lights you up and how can you, because when we think about our thoughts, that aligns to the sword energy in the tarot. The swords do speak not only to our thoughts and our mental plane of experience, but it also speaks to communication. So there is something here that as you're getting to know others, as you're really looking at where you've mastered something in the physical, this is also about communicating about what you're passionate about what does, as you talk about it, like literally someone can see you get excited from the inside out. We all have something like that in our experience, whether it's talking about a pet that we love, or it's talking about a place that we love to visit, or it's talking about a hobby that we just can't get enough of. There is something within our experience that we would love to communicate with others. We would love to be able to think about that thing all the time, or to think about how we can bring more of that into our experience. Because that's another aspect of this as well, is to really start to, I think, for some of us, strategize about how to bring in more of what we love in our life, more of what lights us up. Okay, I'm going to pull a card now for our physical plane of experience here. So what do we need to know about the realm of the physical for us this week? Okay, so, I love it. We have surrendered to your intuition. It says, tune into your inner voice. Be aware of any gut feelings, flashes, knowings, or aha moments that come through to guide you. And I like this card as well, too, because when we're thinking about as we move through our physical day-to-day, this is the hands-on part of our experience. It's almost like this is the anchor for the entire reading right here. There, I think, can be some pretty interesting breakthroughs and some pretty interesting connections to possibly others there might be a chance this week, as I'm seeing this, for some of us to really connect the dots as to how we can utilize something that we've mastered and how it can be of service to possibly someone else in our experience, be this our work life, our home life, or just even in our community. And how can we align that with something that really we're passionate about? And this is going to be all around it's almost like having to be very present this week in when you're driving, let's say, to the store, or you're driving to work, and all of a sudden you just have that feeling of, I'm going to take a different way today. Or, I'm going to swing by that new shopping center on the way home and go to a different store because I need to shake up my routine. Or you just start to think about something maybe you have loved in the past, and all of a sudden there's this like aha flash of, oh my gosh, from now where I am versus where I was before, I could actually pick that back up again. And maybe now I have more time in my schedule and I could actually be the one to lead that group instead of just look for that team to join, the intramural kickball, team to join. I actually have the time to organize one of those in my community. But there's something here on surrendering to your intuition. So this is really the crux when we're looking at our physical experience and how to keep us kind of grounded and present, and really to make use of the energy this week, is to continually be checking in with yourself. Where is there a random kind of pull? This can even be, and I work a lot with my intuition now, and I work a lot with just going off of my gut feelings. And it's amazing how your life just can click into being when you kind of get into that flow of trusting yourself. Again, that confidence, right? And that sometimes I'll just get it in my head, like, I really need to go to this place, and I can't get past it. It's like it just keeps sticking in there. Like, I really need to go visit this specific spot. And a lot of times it's geographically located. It's not like I have to go to Target today. It's like I have to go to this place I've driven by a million times, this park that I saw a sign for, and I'll just keep feeling like I need to go there. I need to visit. I need to do more research about that place. And when I go there, usually it will unlock something for myself. It is almost like leveling up in a video game. It's like I go there and all of a sudden I meet someone who then tips me off to the next point to go to, or they give me information about something that I've been questioning and didn't know how to get that information. Suddenly that person there can give that to me. Or I realize I've been looking for a really easy place for me to go hiking that's close by, and I just haven't been able to find one. And then all of a sudden, what I thought was maybe just this little like local park, I realize has a giant trail system behind it and a beautiful waterfall at the end of it. It's like one of those things where it's like when you feel that called, this is going to be that crux point of like, if you feel called to a specific geographic location, if you feel called to, like, you just keep thinking about that place you want to go out to eat, that new restaurant, and you just feel it and feel it. And it's like, this is the week to say, let's go. Because there could be something there. This could be like where you go to that restaurant and you have the best meal of your life, and suddenly you realize, oh my gosh, I need more of this in my life. Or you realize, oh my gosh, I miss when I used to cook all the time, and I really want to get back to it. There's something like that. And maybe all of a sudden that could be the aha moment of like, wait a second, I have a skill set I could bring to that now, and I really want to do some research to see how I can bring that into my experience. All right, so let's see here. For the the passion and action-oriented side to our experience, we have the Five of Cups. So this is a week on, which is interesting because this is like where we're choosing to take action and where we're choosing to take action that is in alignment with what we're passionate about. The Five of Cups speaks actually to our emotional center. It speaks to looking at what has not worked out in the past for us, looking at our disappointments. And what I like about this is asking us where perhaps we had to really look at where we've been taking action, or we've been holding ourselves back with poise from taking action towards something because of a disappointment in the past, because of something that didn't work out for us. So this could be like saying, I really want to jump into this new relationship. I really want to get to know this person better. All I can do is think about them and they light me up. It's like so exciting every time I think about this individual. And I know we're kind of poised to maybe jump into this new relationship together. And my intuition is telling me this person could be the one. And then this would be like you saying, but you know what? I don't know if I want to take action though. Because the last time I got into a relationship, oh boy, it just went crazy. It's almost like this is that week to look at where you've maybe been hesitating in taking action, or you've been hesitating and really leaning into your own passion, whether this is romantic passion, whether this is just the passion you have towards something or some aspect of yourself that you want to express, and to really look at where maybe also you're not owning something you've mastered in the physical because of the pain of the past, because of something that didn't work out, because of a disappointment. Now, the Five of Cups also speaks to 3 cups have been spilled, but there's always the realization that 2 cups are still left standing. And those 2 cups represent the Two of Cups, which again is intimate connection. So there can be this feeling of, yes, maybe that old relationship didn't work out, but ultimately there were other people there to support you as you left that romantic relationship that didn't work out. Who was there? Who was that friend that helped you get through it? Who was maybe that family member who helped you get through it? Or it could be like, you had something in your career path didn't work out, and then it'd be like, but you know what? You ended up making a great connection or a great friend that you still talk to this person to this day. Something along those lines, to look at what actually you got out of that situation, and now where can you kind of, as we're getting poised to jump, poised to follow the dream, poised to capitalize perhaps on a skill set or a mastery we've learned in the last cycle, where can we kind of get past that fear or hesitancy in taking action towards something we're passionate about? Where can we get past that by just identifying what this disappointment was and releasing it? And also at the same time, really looking at what we got that was beneficial out of that as well, and how that maybe even helped us maybe connect with others in a stronger and more authentic way. All right, I'm going to pull some clarifiers. We'll get just a few extra cards here to see if there's any deeper messages. I'm actually going to pull a couple cards for the King of Pentacles. So let's see what we need to know about the King of Pentacles up there. So we have the 10 of Swords, we have the Hierophant, and the Can't talk, goodness. And the Knight of Pentacles. So there is something here with the Ten of Swords. This is facing a point in our life where we were kind of brought to our knees. It is that point where we were fired from a job, or we did lose a parent, or we went through that divorce or breakup. It's that point in our life where we're like, man, this is overkill. Like, really, what else can go wrong? But then with the Hierophant and the Knight of Pentacles, what's beautiful in that coming in is this is commitment to the new path ahead. The Knight of Pentacles is someone who has a long-term vision. They hold the pentacle, and they're on their horse mounted and ready to go. They're ready to, they see the steps that need to be taken to be able to achieve what the King of Pentacles knows he's capable of achieving. So this would be like the king sets the course. He says, I want to build that house on the hill over there. And he tells his knight, what's the plan? Let's sit down, let's strategize, let's get the plan in place. And they do. And they say, okay, well, here's the 6 steps we're going to take to start to implement that house on the hill being built. And the Hierophant is that level of commitment. It's the element of us saying, okay, we're going to abide by these rules. We're going to abide by this plan. Okay, knight, ready to go. So there's an element here of releasing a pain from the past, releasing something where, we were brought to our knees, and now committing to a new plan, committing to that next long-term vision for ourselves, and releasing, letting the sun rise. That's always the beautiful element of this card, is that even though this individual is on the beach with his 10 swords in his back, we see that the night sky is dissipating and the sun is rising in the horizon. So it's the dawning of a new day, and this individual has completed a cycle, and he will be able to actually stand up and pull forth one sword and take that as his new sword of truth, of what he's truly capable of, as he goes victorious into the next cycle. So keep that in mind. Now, at the bottom of the deck, we do have the 6 of Cups, which I love that I just saw that really speaks to getting back to our kind of original self, getting back to maybe a dream from the past that we've long forgotten. It can also be getting a gift from our past self, going back to that place of nostalgia and maybe remembering something we were great at and bringing that forward. It can also be making peace with the past, which is a beautiful energy as well. Okay, so I'm going to pull from a different deck a few more clarifiers down here. So I'm going to actually pull for Surrender to Your Intuition, because that's a really prominent and important card here. So what do we need to know about Surrender to Your Intuition? Something popped out but wanted to go back in. So let's see. Surrender to Your Intuition. What do we need to know about that for this week? Oh, there's the 10 of Swords again. Yes, this is a week of complete release of whatever this was, past or present. I mean, this could be 10 of Swords, could be literally where you are reviewing something that was 10 years ago. And maybe you've come through a whole nother cycle since that point. I can use this as a reference directly to myself, where, when I look back 10 years ago, I did go through a very difficult time, and that was a changing point both in my career path, also in my personal life, and there's been a whole cycle between then and now for me, and yet I'm still finally just making peace with all of that. It was almost like I wasn't able to process it and having to kind of extricate myself from it. And now I'm able to look at it, release it. And now it's like almost like okay with this buffer between myself then and this buffer of this cycle in between. I'm poised now to go out into something almost with being able to almost erase all of that, pain. It's that's all I can explain it as. It's a hard way of explaining it, but it's surrendering your intuition to where perhaps it's like that last little piece. It's almost like when you think about like having, let's say, a splinter and you don't get the entire splinter out, and there's still that irritation and it's still maybe red and it's not healing right. And you're like, what is going on? Like, I thought I got the splinter out. That should have been healed by now. And then you realize it's because there's when you open it up a little bit more and you kind of dig around, you realize, oh my God, there's still one little teeny piece left. Let me dig it out, move on. And it's like really surrendering to your intuition of like, aha, that's the little sliver I need to just pull out, move on from, so I can jump into the new here. And your intuition might actually steer you towards something that will illuminate whatever that is for yourself, which is actually a really beautiful thing. And then we have the Queen of Wands and the Hierophant. So this is committing to your own fire, committing to blooming where you're planted, committing to being seen. Where have you been dimming your light? There's a big feeling here on where have you been dimming this fiery, passionate version of yourself because of the pain of the past, because of what happened. And I like how you have the Hierophant. The Hierophant, commit, build a new belief system around the passion within, around the plan. That's also what the Hierophant can speak to. It speaks to building a new belief system, speaks to really questioning even old belief systems. And again, what you need, this would be like questioning every rule you've had in your life for yourself and saying, how can I commit to my life in a different way now? Maybe there is something, rules I've followed, things I've told myself I'm not capable of. Where can I change that to commit to the new vision for the future and to commit to allowing my truest self to be seen? Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull, let's do one more deck here. And I'm going to pull for the Five of Cups. Just looking at that. I might actually pull for Poised too from the same deck just to get one final message. So let's actually get some for Poised. What are we getting poised and ready to jump into? The World and the Eight of Coins. I like that. So the World speaks to a major cycle ending. But it's almost like, because we're poised and getting ready to jump into the new, it's like we're not going to get a breather. We're not going to get a chance to, this is almost like that week to be like, catch your breath. It's almost like for those of you who have ever done a HIIT workout, it's like you never let your heart rate get fully back down to, homeostasis. This is almost like the last cycle's ending. You're getting a little bit, you're getting your 15-second cool down, and you're going to have to pick the pace back up right again the week later. And this could be because we are having Leo go retrograde on the 22nd of this week, in Venus retrograde in Leo, which is going to be a very powerful retrograde for all of us to do, for all of us to get very solid as to what we value, the new values perhaps that are coming in that are being highlighted for us, where we now need to commit to something in a new way. And there is kind of this like portal window between July 22nd and July 28th, which is very powerful. We could see some shakeups in our own life, new job opportunities coming in, new romantic interest coming in, shifts that just kind of come in out of the blue that really are going to, again, say, okay, one cycle's done, we're throwing you into the next. Here's that. You want the star, you're poised, you're ready, have confidence in yourself. And it's kind of almost like being the baby bird and you get shoved out again, or you're in that HIIT workout in your spin class and they're telling you to kick it up a notch, because that's what the Eight of Coins is. It says keep your eye on the prize, keep going. No matter what comes in out of left field, what changes, it says this is the individual who is on the path of mastery. This is the individual who sees the bigger plan for what he is working on. And this is taking a certain level of experience, and I get the feeling of leveling up. This could also be for some of us where with the World and the Eight of Coins coming in, this can actually be a kind of that pat on the back to say, you've mastered it. You've done it. You were the apprentice, but now you're the king. So get ready to take that mastery to the next level. Beautiful. Okay, let's see what And often when we've mastered something, we think like, yay, I've been working so hard to master this, and I'm going to be able to finally put it all down, and rest for a bit. And it's like, that's when the universe says, great job. I'm gonna award you now what you were actually working towards. And sometimes that's a lot more than we were expecting, but in a good way. Okay, so the Five of Cups, there's the Fool. Yes. The Fool is taking that leap of faith. And for many of us, we've been kind of holding ourselves back from taking that leap of faith because of the pain of the past. And we're being really asked to say it's time this week to really look at that and kind of put all that pain, disappointment, and that cycle that kind of wounded us to rest. Now, I have a whole chunk of cards that came out here. I don't really have time to get into the whole story, but we do have the King of Coins coming in, King of Pentacles again. We have the King of Cups, so this could be Taurus and Scorpio, which is interesting because the nodes this week are moving. When I talk about nodes, so all of us in our birth chart have a south node and a north node. And basically the south node is where we are asked in our lifetime to release something in that area and grow into what the north node is. That's kind of part of our North Star, our kind of node of destiny. So there's a sense here. For the past year and a half, we've had our nodes in Taurus and Scorpio, which is Taurus, King of Pentacles, and King of Cups is Scorpio. And we had in the South node collectively Scorpio, and in the North node collectively Taurus. And so there was this for the past year and a half, we've been asked to really release a lot of these deep emotional things that have kind of been in that the deep emotional recesses of our experience, those woundings, and maybe being a little too lost, a little too focused on our emotional state, which is what Scorpio really represents, and really moving away from that and getting more present in the physical, really looking at what we value in the physical, how we can apply maybe our emotional self and what we love and what we're passionate about, and how we can actually bring that into the physical experience. So we've all, as a collective, been going through that move of looking into the deep recesses of our emotional experience, purging, maybe getting out of our emotional sense a little bit and getting more into, okay, let's get present in the physical moment. Let's look at what we're capable of. Let's look at our tangible skill sets. And let's also look at what we value. What do we really value, and how can we, take ourselves to that place of being able to say, this is what I'm worth. This is what I'm worthy of. So this could be where this is that whole cycle for many of us. We have Judgment coming in with Seven of Coins and the High Priestess. Judgment is that final call up. It usually speaks to we've had to go through a death, because Judgment is being called up from the dead as the new version of yourself. So there is some aspect of yourself that has died away, whether this is an emotional part of yourself, whether this is the part that was originally tied to this original painful past or painful event in your life. It can be also where, again, this is just that cycle ending, and we are now getting to the point of judgment of what did we learn in that cycle, what were we willing to face within ourselves, and now the judgment comes from where have we been courageous enough in taking new action in spite or despite the pain or the emotional, kind of depths we were going into. And then we have the Seven of Coins and the High Priestess. Seven of Coins speaks to reviewing what we have in the present and trying to see where now we can, what we have, and asking ourselves that question of, do we want to continue to commit to this? And how? If so, how can we go from the 7 to the 8? This would be like saying, we bought a home and we love where we live. But now when I look at it, I realize, okay, this was a great foundation and I want to continue to invest in this. What do we need to do? Are we going to invest in, doing some nice upgrading projects? Are we going to invest in, beautifying the outside? But with the High Priestess, it says, the High Priestess is very much surrendered to your intuition. She can consult herself. She also can, what I like about especially in this image, you see, with one half being dark and one half being light. She understands both the shadow side to herself, the dark within, and she understands the light that she also shines. And she knows that that's what makes her who she is. She doesn't try to hide from one aspect or the other. She embraces both. And that's how she knows the next step. That's how she knows what choice to make. So for many of you, there is this realization that over the past year and a half, something has happened. Something has asked you to face something in your life that maybe you are not willing to face on an emotional level, and it's asked you to kind of bring it to light in the physical. You were probably asked at some point to take some courageous action, and with judgment coming in and the world coming in over here, it's saying, okay, based on that, now you know where you want to invest your time, energy, and money, and you also know what you're capable of as well. And there may be this feeling of, okay, I'm starting to see the path forward, but this is a week where we now get ready to commit. And it may be committing to, there might be something coming in this week very much with the Fool specifically right here, that this could be you getting that new job offer that you maybe weren't expecting. This could be that new person coming into your life, or somebody saying, hey, let's get to know each other better. Do you want to move in together? And you're like, okay, let's do it. Let's commit. I like what I see here. I have a good feeling. I'm going to do it. But yeah, get ready for some, there could be some unexpected changes, but get excited about those, because those unexpected changes are saying, job well done. You're ready for this next step. Get ready for that element of true soul illumination, of seeing that next evolution of what you're capable of. It's beautiful. Big message coming through. This is a big, big week, probably followed by 2 to 3 more big, big weeks for us. So I look forward to seeing what comes up. If anything crazy happens for you this week, I'd love to see that posted in a comment. All right. If you'd like to book a personal reading, you can click on the link in the description box below to visit my website. Otherwise, I will see you all next week for the next collective reading. All right. Bye, everyone.